everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tino Merkaba, and in today's video, obviously I'm speaking about Venus in Libra, as you have read in the title. So I'm really excited about this video because I am a Venus in Libra myself, so obviously I know about how we do things. And before I begin, please make sure to like, share, subscribe. Once again, thank you so much to all my new subscribers that have joined this crew, the squad. If you like a birth chart reading from me, please hit me up on my Instagram and I will send you a link of all the different readings you can get from me. Please make sure to check out my other YouTube, Avocado Man, where I do other things that aren't astrology. And yeah, without further ado, Venus in Libra. Yeah. What is Libra, right? Libra is cardinal air. Cardinal meaning it initiates and it begins things, right? And it's an air sign, so it initiates and begins conversation, communication, and because there's an exaltation of Saturn, they like to build on communication and they like to build on relationships, and they know the necessary steps to take in order to build a relationship, through communication. Because if we think about relationships are formed through relating to each other or having things in common. And Libras understand the importance of relating and kind of putting yourself in somebody else's shoes and understanding them intellectually though, intellectually, and kind of building a relationship on being like, hey, I've been through these things. Oh, I've been through these things. Oh, you've been through those things? Oh my God, this reminds me of the time I went through this. And see, in that way, they know how to build actual relationships and stable relationships. Because once again, like I said, Saturn is exalted here, So they love building stability in relationships. And this is also what makes the Venus and Libra people be able to connect with different kinds of people, aka people who know, who can get them from point A to point B. They know how to build relationships with these people and kind of put themselves in a position where they make other people feel like they want to be a part of the group, because once again, it's air. So air is also dealing with the somewhat collective conscious, not so much like Aquarius, but it's dealing with kind of wanting to connect with everything, because if you think about air is everywhere. Air exists everywhere in the world. It's like consuming earth, so it's everywhere. So Libras also want to be somewhat a part of something. So yeah, Libras want to somewhat be a part of something, because it's a thing where, okay, unless a Libra has maybe an Aquarius moon or an Aquarius rising, they may do well alone. But for the most part, if they have maybe Leo or I don't know if you can have a Libra Venus with a Cancer Sun sign. I don't think so. But for the most part, if you have a Libra Venus, you may not necessarily seek being in a relationship. Because once again, if you have Aquarius or you have, like I said, unless they have Aquarius in their moon or rising, they may do well alone, but it's always going to be a thing of, it would be nice to have friends, or it would be nice to be in a relationship, it would be really cool to have a squad or people that I can speak to and relate all of my ideas with, and we can build businesses together, or make events together, or just kind of gain stability together, just based on us having a relationship in general, And if you think about it, making a business or starting a business, you have to somewhat have relationships with people and build relationships with people, you know what I'm saying? Build stability with people in order for you to even somewhat build structure for the business or for the whatever you guys are trying to do in general, you know what I'm saying? And Libras understand this best. But here's the thing with Libra Venuses is that they sometimes, because they love and appreciate, and they love to put themselves in other people's shoes, and they love to love and appreciate things that you love and appreciate, kind of like Venus and Pisces. And I'm gonna make a video about how Libras and Pisces have so much in fucking common, because I see this generally. The only difference is that a Pisces is a lot more messy than a Libra, But I think Libras can also be as messy as a Pisces. But anyway, yeah, because Venus and Libras love to love, and they love to kind of compromise and like put themselves in other people's shoes, they can, and once again, because it's an air sign, they may not actually be in emotions, but they understand emotions, or they understand the feelings of emotions, you know. So in this, it can kind of come off as Libra Venus is being somewhat manipulative, or somewhat manipulative. But the thing is that a Libra Venus may not see it as being manipulative, because how they see it is, oh, I'm just like, I'm giving you the space so that you can feel comfortable around me. Because once again, Libras like making people feel good feelings, like feel the love, because once again, Venus is there. But to them, it's like, I don't want to, like, I'm making you feel welcome to tell me whatever it is that you want to, and unload, or do whatever, but don't think that I'm gonna be in there with you, unless they have a Pisces moon, or unless they have a Cancer moon, or a Scorpio moon maybe, or placements in their water house. But I'll do Venus and Libra through the houses in my next video that you should probably check out. But for the most part, like, a Venus and Libra may not really be, they, like I said, they understand emotions from an outside point of view, and they understand emotions intellectually, but they won't, like, they're not looking at emotions the way water signs would look at emotions, actually being in the emotion and then kind of syncing with somebody so that somebody else would actually feel that with them, you know. A Venus in Libra is gonna like sit there, understand everything you're saying, but then know also, like, because air is detached, they're gonna like detach from that, you know. So in that way, it can kind of seem manipulative, or it can kind of seem like standoffish. You know, that's one thing that Venus and Libra people, like Aquariuses, will get accused of, is being standoffish, you know. But it's not so much that they're trying to manipulate you, even though they are Venus and Libra people that know that they're doing this, and then they use emotions against people. They know how to say specific things to make somebody feel a specific way, and then act like they don't know what they're doing, knowing damn well that they know exactly what they're doing, especially if they have like Gemini in their chart, and their rising or their moon or whatever, you know. They may use that, but obviously that's like the dark side. Not to say that this is gonna happen, this is like the end all be all, but generally, like, this could happen, you know. And one thing with Venus and Libra people is that, see, the thing is like, Venus and Libra people love and appreciate all relationships with homies, their siblings, you know. They like to build on relationships with their siblings, with their friends, and with their partners, you know. Because if you think about relationships, it's not just like dating kind of relationships, even though it could be that, but it's like just generally all relationships with friends, strangers. And the thing is, like, because Venus is here, and it's communication, they may like be like, in their head they're just being nice, but it comes off as flirting, you know what I'm saying? Just because, once again, the Venusian aspect is there. And if we think about Venus, like I said, it's love and appreciating, compromising, showing love. So if a Venus and Libra is like kind of relating themselves to you, aka having a conversation, it may come across as flirting. Now, obviously, it may be flirting sometimes, like, depending on whatever the situation is. But sometimes it's really not. Sometimes it's just like them being a nice person, and like, you know, giving you, or they may just stay there because they're like, oh wow, this is a really dope conversation. Because once again, they're gonna love and appreciate having conversations with people, especially nice, smooth conversations, you know, like having really dope conversations with people. They're gonna love and appreciate those things, especially with other air signs, because it's like intellectual stimulation, you know. And this is something that Venus and Libra also love and appreciate, especially in relationships, like dating relationships. They're gonna love and appreciate the mental stimulation. But when it comes to, like, you know, the heavy emotions, or having to always talk about like trauma that you've gone through in your life, or having to always, I don't know, think about what you're gonna do in the future and all of that, like, they don't mind talking about those things. But if it's a thing where it's like, oh, we're always talking about it, then it's kind of going to get irritated, because it's also like you're compressing that air to only be in one state. And like I said, air is everywhere, you know. It's in the past, the present, and the future. So because water is the past, earth is the present, and then fire is the future, and they're existing, air is existing everywhere, you know. So they don't mind talking about any of these things, but it's just the thing of, if we're only going to talk about one of these things, if we're only going to talk about all things we want to do in the future, if we're only talking about things that are happening now, if we're only talking about our past, then it's kind of gonna, it's like, it's gonna get boring, and there's no stimulation anymore. And then that Venus and Libra person is gonna like try to, you know, think of ways to dip, because air likes to dip. Air is like, okay, I'm gone, I'm on my way. I don't mind leaving, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Venus and Libra people have a knack for fashion, you know. Once again, depending on the other placements, your sun, moon, and rising, it's going to be modified differently. But Venus and Libra people definitely have a knack for color coordination. Definitely. Like, these are the type of people that will organize a room to a fucking perfect hue. Like, they love hues. They love, like, different shades of things. They also like just like Taurus, they're very much into fashion and stuff, you know, and they're very much into the quality of clothes. Even though, like, I think my generation, we like thrifting and shit, you know, as opposed to maybe buying Gucci things, which probably is a thing to some people. But regardless of whatever brand you're into, thrifting, whatever, you're always gonna, to you, like, you may be able to buy super cheap clothes and make them look like really good, you know, because you know how to color coordinate, and you know how to, like, and you love and appreciate like smelling good and just looking good, and you have like style and swag and finesse, and you just know how to carry yourself in such a way that people also feel your own, like, the way that you love and appreciate things that you have, you know. Because at the same token, the same way you love and appreciate other people, you also want people to love and appreciate you, you know. And this brings me to this, right? Is that because Libras aren't like Aries where they're about themselves, Libras are always about the other, you know. So it can be very difficult, especially in relationships, dating relationships, I'll say, even in friendships, because you are somewhat of a shapeshifter, and you are always constantly putting yourself in people's shoes. You may, like Pisces, kind of take on other people's characteristics, other people's way of saying shit. You know, you just kind of morph into whoever you with as a form of loving and appreciating. You know, so it's easy for Venus and Libra people to kind of get lost in relationships and lose themselves, and like kind of want to redirect their entire life based on whoever they're with, because they want to balance that other person's life. And trust me, I know the shit, you know. And this is why I would say, like, as a Venus and Libra person, it's so important for you to kind of like be able to say no, or like kind of have boundaries, which is really ironic because you're exalted in Saturn, and that's like the planet of boundaries and restrictions, you know. But I feel like, because I don't even know why that is, but Libras just have a hard time like setting boundaries with people, which is so fucking weird. It's weird, you know. They always want to, like, it's like Libras naturally, just like Pisces, get the shorter end of the stick, you know, or they get like walked all over because of Venus, and because they love and appreciate loving people and giving people the benefit of the doubt, you know, because Venus is there, and they always want to have harmony. Because having like drama, they may like drama, and they may like behind the scenes stir the pot based upon the words that they say, and based upon, you know, just knowing people's emotional states intellectually, and knowing how to play with that, you know. They know how to do that. They can be very manipulative, Venus and Libra people, and Mercury in Libra people. They know how to like manipulate that shit, but for the most part, it's like I feel like they struggle with, Venus and Libra people kind of just struggle with knowing how to set boundaries in relationships, and knowing how to, because to them it's like, and this is somewhat what also can make them liars, you know. Obviously, if you have a Scorpio sun sign, then it's going to be modified a lot differently, you know. But it's you're still going to share these energies where it can be really difficult for you to say no, just because you always want harmony, you know. But to you are probably going to expect somebody to kind of do exactly what you do, in terms of, okay, I'm giving up this part of my life so that I can create balance in our relationship. And subconsciously, you're going to want somebody else to do that. But you may attract people who are not like that, who are selfish and who have their own plans. And those plans don't really include letting you do your shit. And because you also have a hard time saying no, or maybe have a hard time leaving a relationship, or you maybe have a hard time, like you may have had friends that that take from you, or always borrow money from you, never pay back, or just have selfish friends, and because you always like giving people the benefit of the doubt, you may once again secretly resent them, but still be friends with them, which is the thing that makes you kind of fake-ish, you know what I'm saying? Makes you fake as fuck, or just kind of makes you like a mat, because it's like you love peace and you love balance so much that you sacrifice so much of yourself and then give power to other people so much just so that you can remain having balance. You know what I'm saying? So these Venus and Libra people are definitely the type of people that would bite their tongues or lie or sugarcoat things because they don't want to hurt people's feelings, Because once again, air signs, they're not really dealing with the emotions like fire signs and water signs do. Because whatever happens to them, they're gonna first analyze it in their brains and then analyze, is this worth feeling sad for? Is this worth feeling bad for? Is this worth whatever? And then if it's not, then they can detach from that, which is the nice part. But then if it is, then they're going to dissect it some more and then still not confront. Venus and Libra people don't like confrontation unless they have Virgo in them, or unless they have like Scorpio in them, or maybe even Sagittarius. But Sagittarius, I won't say that. Sag is like the fun, so they won't really confront you like that, but for the most part, like I feel like a way a Venus and Libra would like deal with things is to just either act like it never happened, or they just act like shit never happened. So they it's like they can be in denial so easy about shit, especially in abusive relationships, because they'll make up excuses as to why somebody's acting that way. Because once again, they're going to put themselves in your shoes and be like, you're probably acting this way because you're going through this and you're going through that. And by me confronting you, then I'm not really helping the situation. But I also need to help the situation, because if you continue doing that, then it's going to make me hate you some more. But they don't want to say these things because it might rock the boat, and they don't want that shit to happen. So they're just gonna it's gonna eat them up inside, and then they're gonna secretly resent you, and then because the other side of them is Scorpio, then it's gonna pile up, right? And then they explode. Then they become rude ass motherfuckers. I swear to God, Libras can be so fucking rude. And in like a pretty way, because you won't expect this Libra to like say the things that they're saying, because for a long time they've like obviously shown you love, and they've shown you compromise, and they've shown you like relatability and shit, but obviously everybody has like a limit, and once a Libra Venus has a limit, it's going to be difficult for them to get out of that. It's probably like it'd have to be a good year or two for them to really like get it out of their system, or get you out of their lives, period. And then for them to like detach from those feelings, and then actually be like, okay, you know what, have you changed? Okay. But you won't see with Venus in Libra, let's say you guys did break up and it was a bad breakup, and let's say it's been like a year or two that you guys haven't seen each other, and then you see each other at a party or something, like they won't be like a Scorpio or a Cancer where they're like, they kill you with their brain, like they're like, oh, you dead to me. Now a Venus and Libra person will still like have a conversation with you, but I feel like then in those instances, then they'll like kind of set a boundary as to how much they communicate with you, because communication will be there because they are an air sign. But I think then in those spaces, like they will probably like set a boundary as to how much they share themselves with you, or they relate themselves with you, unless you have the conversation of like apologizing, then that's when they'll start adding up, but like warming up to you. But yeah, but okay, I'm just thinking now with the Libra being exalted in Saturn, I think how like they build restrictions and boundaries, I think like they build restrictions and boundaries on how much emotional baggage that they take on. So it's more so about themselves, So a Venus in Libra person they'll be able to sit there and listen to you talk about how you feel, but then the boundary that they set is like not wanting to take on that emotional baggage, but they'll sit there and intellectually dissect everything you're going through. In their head, be like, what you're going through, is that really worth like giving a fuck about? Like, is it really worth it, or just being overly dramatic? But they won't say this obviously because they're not trying to like rock the boat, you know, because Venus and Libra people like being liked, you know, and maybe some may not want to admit this, but they like being liked, and they like having people, you know, fuck with them. Because Venus and Libra people, like, because Venus is there and the air is there, just like Taurus, they have like, they just exude a really warm, cool, calm energy, you know, like a cool, calm, collected energy. Like they know how to make people feel cool, calm, and collected themselves. Like these Venus and Libra people know how to make people feel like, if you are with me, if we're together, and let's say I'm the Venus and Libra person, and there's drama happening in my house, and I have a friend over, I know how to make that friend feel like, dude, don't worry, like, you just continue, you know, here's the Wi-Fi password, can I get you some food, are you okay, you know, like, just make you feel good, like, make you feel calm, or make you feel like you're okay, you know what I'm saying, like, you're not involved in the drama, or like, you're not involved in the shit that's about to happen, or the shit that's happening, generally, you know, Venus and Libra people love making people feel that way, especially in relationships. Because once again, I also feel like Venus and Libra people in relationships, they are pleasers. They're people pleasers in general, you know? Just once again, because Venus is there, and Venus is about pleasure. So they want to make people feel like they're understood, you know? Or they want to make people feel like, yeah, no, I get you. So they can become yes men in that way, you know, even in relationships where they don't want to completely disagree with their partner. And if they do have disagreements, they don't want to if they're debating, they wouldn't want to make the debate sound like it's an actual argument that's gonna end in heat and like anger and like, oh, I hate you, that type of thing. Like, Venus and Libra people run from shit like that, and they won't even, if they can sense that a conversation or a debate is gonna go there, then they'll like be like, oh, okay, you know, or just change the conversation in general, just because they don't want the drama. They can't take the heat. Once again, unless it depends on if your sun and moon is in a fire sign or in Scorpio or something, that's gonna modify and change. But for the most part, like, they don't really like the heat, you know. They just like things to be always at an equilibrium, you know. And even if that means for them to be introverted, because you will get some introverted Libra Venuses, you know, that would probably be mistaken for Tauruses or Cancers, maybe. I'd say a Cancer, maybe, you know, but they won't, like, this, the way that they approach people is always going to be gentle, you know what I'm saying? And then you may, like, because of that, you may mistake them for being a water sign or an earth sign, you know, just because they have a gentle approach to situations and things. But they're because it's an air sign, it is masculine. So you'll find a lot of the times the females with Libra and Venuses wouldn't mind initiating the conversation to ask somebody else on a date, you know, whether it be a girl or a guy. Whereas like earth signs or water signs, they would want to give out the energy that you should come and ask me out. You know, like, come here, you can ask me out. But they won't really say it. They'll just give you the eyes or whatever. But a Venus and Libra woman, they won't mind making the first move, you know. This goes for all air sign Venuses and air sign suns and moons. Shorties, women, like, they wouldn't mind making the first move. Because in that way, they can be very masculine in just their approach to things. And that brings me to this, is that Venus and Libra, and then the men, somewhat will exude a femininity where it could be displayed in any way. Like, they take long to get ready because they take care of their faces and their beauty, you know. Because once again, like, Venus is all about like pleasures of life and looking good and smelling good. So this is something that they're also going to love and appreciate about themselves, you know, loving and appreciating looking good and smelling good and being around good places and good people and like aesthetics and shit like that. But if they are with somebody who doesn't like, they won't judge if you aren't into fashion as much as they are, you know. just for the fact that you're giving out love, then they're gonna love and appreciate that, you know. But you will get some Venus and Libras that are like super picky with the people that they hang around with. Especially now, I feel, especially like with Instagram and shit, they'll be very classist, you know? In any way, whether it be Instagram, like clothing, who you hang out with, shit like that. They can be very superficial in that way. Or just like hanging out with people that represent the exaltation of Saturn with that Venus, you know? Once again, it does depend on everything else and where you grew up at. But for the most part, yeah, they love and appreciate their own, they love and appreciate loving and appreciating, basically, you know, and forming relationships with people too. But you sometimes might get like aggressive Venus and Libra people that like, I don't know, talk shit all the time. But for the most part, they're still gonna attract people that like that about them and just like them. Because like I said, Venus and Libra people just exude pleasantness. They exude cute, good shit. And people generally fuck with them. Obviously, it's gonna depend on a whole bunch of things. But for the most part, like, people generally fuck with you. And you have, if you don't have good teeth, then you have braces to get good teeth, you know. But I don't know, just basically your face just looks, and even if you don't look somewhat attractive, you just have these qualities about you, whether it's your voice, the way you speak, your eyes, your cheeks, your hair maybe, just the way you do things with your hands, like your gestures. This is something about you that like gets people going, like, damn, you're so beautiful, or like, damn, the way you said burgers was so nice. Oh, damn, the way you did that was so beautiful, you know? Or like, wow, the way you, just your voice, like your smile, your nose, your eyes. This is something about you that's so cool. Like, I really appreciated that about you, you know? But if not, I feel like Venus and Libra people just look beautiful generally. Like, Venus blesses you with the good looks, you know? And you, like, no shade, I feel like you definitely would prefer to date good-looking people. Yeah. Unless you have Pisces, then you probably don't care about that. Like, if you have Pisces in your moon, especially, or your rising, you may not really care about looks like that, but you definitely do look towards, like, people who look good, you know? But yeah, because Libras are really smart, though, no cap. Libras are very smart in terms of, like, being strategic on how they're gonna do things. So Libras can also be users, just like Capricorns and Scorpios and Cancers and who else? Leos. You know, they can definitely be users, but the way that they use is, it's gonna be manipulative, but it's gonna be in such a harmonious way where they make other people feel like they would want to include the Venus and Libra person. Because once again, the Venus and Libra person know how to take people's ideas and make them better. You know, because the side before them is Virgo, and Virgo is all about improvement. So they know how to take other people's ideas, other people's strategies, and make them even better. And other people may feel like, no, this is my idea, don't fucking try to change that, you know. But Libra's just kind of, once again, because they want to be included in things, they're gonna want to make you feel like they have, like, they're gonna want to make you feel like they're an asset in whatever business venture that they want to embark with you, you know. So you're gonna get like really strategic Libras that know how to like form relationships with people to get from point A to point B, you know. There's like other Libras that kind of are ditzy, but I've never met a ditzy like Libra, you know, unless they're pretending because they're trying to see how people act in front of them, or try to see if someone's going to take advantage of them. But you do get like the ditzy kind of Libras that, like, you know, it's like, oh my god, I'm sorry, I didn't know that, you know, can get really like mashed, like super butch kind of Libras, you know, that like are super masculine. And these are the type of Libras that are like, you know, they very, like, they have direction, and they somewhat also controlling. You can get these kind of somewhat controlling Libras, you know. And then you can get the super passive Libras that are like, don't you wanna come to the park with me, you know, in that way. So I feel like in that way Libras can be manipulative, because they plant the idea in other people's head, and then they make other people get up and do something, and then the Libra will be the one that like is like the helping hand, kind of, you know, the one that's like, oh, you did a good job, but I think maybe you could have done it like this, or yeah, we can go there, I'll come with you, you know, because once again, Libra just wants to be included, and they love feeling included, and they love feeling like other people want them to be around. And that could be a case because some people really do fuck with you so much to the point where they want you to go with them wherever, you know, and you like contributing to conversations, and you like Venus and Libra people wouldn't like somebody sitting awkwardly, not feeling awkward and feeling like, oh my god, they're so scared to, like, if you're with a Venus and Libra person, because, you know, like, let's say we're in a group and then there's other people that speak over people. A Venus and Libra person doesn't like when people do shit like that. So they'll be the first ones to be like, yeah, no, say what you're saying. We're listening to you. Or they'll be like, yo, bro, chill out. She was trying to say something. You know, that's the really nice part, is that they like making other people feel included because they themselves like feeling included in situations, you know, because they love and appreciate balance, and they don't want anyone to feel excluded because they themselves don't want to feel excluded in anything, you know. So I feel like Venus and Libra people apply the do unto others as you want to be done to yourself, you know. Same with Taurus too. It's the same shit, you know, but expressed differently. Venus and Libra people can be, you guys, like I said, you guys love mental stimulation, you know, and because you like mental stimulation and you like to speak to different people and different kinds of people, you can also like have that thing where you are friends with your exes and it's like all good, you know. Because once again, like, air is everywhere and air is free. So I would feel like if you're in a relationship maybe with like a Taurus or a Scorpio or a Leo or Cancer, you know, like the signs that kind of want you to merge with them, it might feel like it's suffocating you. It's like suffocating you in a way, especially if they don't let you have like different relationships with people, you know. So you may start wanting to like try to escape, plotting plans to escape the relationship because you're like, yo, there's no way this person's trying to control my life. Or it could be that you would compromise with their ideals and then stay in a relationship while secretly resenting them and resenting the fact that they have so much control over you, you know. And then you lash out like 5 years later in a relationship, or because you didn't communicate that part of you, which is ironic because you're an air sign. So I'd say all air signs not to communicate about everything except their own emotions, or they may be passive towards their emotions or passive in expressing how they feel. And if you're around a water sign, they'll use that shit against you. So I'd say Venus and Libra people just need to learn how to be honest with themselves and not always take into account how other people are going to react to it. Because if you're not happy with something, then you need to put yourself first. And I think that's something Venus and Libra people may struggle with, is like standing up for themselves entirely, you know, and thinking for themselves. Because I feel like with Venus and Libra people, they feel like, okay, we're in a relationship, so this is somewhat of, I've committed to being in your life and I don't want to betray that, you know. So they may like just do some sneaky shit and then be passive towards admitting that they're doing it, only because they didn't want to do it anymore, you know. Because once again, they love harmony and shit. So that could be the default. So on the negative sides, passive as fuck, passive aggressive also, you know. They may want something back from you, and then they may like answer, like the way they ask you isn't like, yo, can I have my shit back? It'll be like, wow, so what happened to that jersey you borrowed from me? You see, like, shit, like, so passively, so fucking passively, like, oh my god. And this could be really annoying, like, so fucking annoying. Also, negative side is they don't know how to pick sides because they're gonna see everybody else's sides and then frustrate everybody. It can be very indecisive in terms of like, because they don't want to upset other people and they want to consider everybody's likes and like, you know, kind of make everybody happy. So they'll put their own likes and their own interests to a seat, you know, just to please other people. Also, they're people pleasers, you know. They can be cheaters, you know, fucking sneaky as shit. Positives though, they know how to put themselves in other people's shoes. You know, they know how to give more perspective. They know how to create harmony in relationships. They're really good at relating to people and forming really good bonds. They know how to direct people and give people orders without making it seem like they're very abrasive or rude. And yeah, that's basically Venus in Libra. Really sweet people, but they can be really fucking sneaky and cheaters and annoying assholes that are loving assholes. Venus in Libra, baby. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please make sure to subscribe and like and comment. I would love your feedback. And then please check out my next video, which will be Venus in Libra through the house as well. We're going through Venus in Libra through all the 12 astrological houses. And yeah, bye.